Welcome back to Section 4, Evaluation of Information Sources. Students, we are coming to evaluate the sources we talked about in Section 3. By the end of this section, you are expected to be able to explain the purpose for evaluating information sources. You are to state the criteria for evaluating these sources. You need to understand the benefit of evaluating information sources. The topics to be covered: Topic 1, we are going to look at evaluating information sources. Topic 2, the criteria for evaluating information sources. Evaluating information sources is an important aspect of the information services processes. As information services providers, it is imperative to recognize that not all information is reliable or true, nor will all information be suitable for different audiences. Hence, the need to know the different information sources and how to critically evaluate them prior to dissemination or making them available for usage. Information can come from virtually anywhere, be it media, blogs, personal experiences, books, journals, and magazine articles, expert opinions, encyclopedias, and web pages. And the type of information you need will change depending on the question you are trying to answer. Information users may encounter many information sources, as we discussed in Section 3, books, journal articles, and websites. Yet, not all information sources are suitable for meeting an identified information need. The information user needs to validate or authenticate the information source before using it to meet his or her information needs. And this is what is known as evaluation of information sources. What are some of the criteria for evaluating information sources? We have authority, accuracy, currency, the scope or the coverage, objectivity, and citation. Let's try to take them one after the other. It is very necessary we understand how to evaluate these sources. The first one is authority. The credibility or reliability of the author and publisher is a primary consideration when evaluating a source of information. You need to ask yourself, who is the author? Who is behind this piece of information? What are their credentials? Is that page signed? Is the author qualified? Normally, if the author is qualified, you see the credential. They provide that piece of information of the author. Is the author an expert? Who is the sponsor? Is the sponsor reputable? What we want to say is that if the page, normally when it's a website, if the page is being sponsored, then there's a little bit of bias. And you need to be careful when you are using that piece of information. Authority 2. In the case of web authorship, you have to ask yourself, is there a link to information about the author or the sponsor? If page includes neither a signature nor indicates a sponsor, is there any other way to determine its origin? You must be careful. Normally, what you should do, if there's no signature or the page is not signed, you have to look at the footer or the header of the link. Normally, when it is, you have to look at the URL. When it is .com, then you know that it's a commercial site and anything can happen there. You need not to believe every information on that page. So we advise that normally you look at educational site, .edu, etc., .gov, etc. The second criteria is accuracy. Is the information you are going to rely on free of errors? Is there an editor or someone who verifies or checks the information? Where does the information come from? Is the information supported by evidence? Has the information been reviewed? Can you verify any of the information in another source or from personal knowledge? Are there spelling, grammatical, or other typographical errors? You need to find out all this. The next criteria is currency. Is the information current or out of date for your topic? Is there a reference list that you can fall on for further information? In the case of a website, are the links functional? Is the page dated? When was the last updated date? When was the information published or posted? Has the information been revised or updated? These questions must be asked. And when you do that, we are trying to evaluate the source. The next is the coverage or the scope. The coverage is the extent of the area of subject matter. What topics are covered in that particular information? What does this page offer that is not found elsewhere? What is its intrinsic value? How in-depth is the material? And it is very, very necessary for you to know this before you can use that piece of information to satisfy your information need. The next criteria is objectivity. Check if the language is free of emotion-arousing words and bias. This measures the extent to which the information is independent of the author's opinion and considers only facts. Objectivity is paramount in most scientific research reports. The next one is citation. Which other sources did the author consult? Are the sources of information used in the work properly cited? Answers to the above questions serve to authenticate the information that he or she is presenting. In conclusion, you can say that in the current digital age, where the majority of information is in the digital format, you may have to customize the evaluation criteria in some situations so as to get better results. So students, we come to the end of another interesting topic, evaluating information sources. From today onwards, assure me that whenever you pick any piece of information, you try to evaluate. Don't just fall on anything because a friend has it. And as I said earlier on, when you pick anything from the website or the internet, be your own evaluator. Thank you.